You are not viewing this by coincidence. Something within you is seeking clarity. And maybe that very search is the strongest indication that you have been chosen. Those who are chosen can sense when it is time to rise. And if you have arrived here, that moment is now. Have you ever sensed that you hold something unique? That you don't quite belong in the world the way it is? As though there is a knowledge within you that no one ever taught, yet it has always existed quietly, waiting. This is not fantasy. It is your true nature attempting to surface. Many people try to silence this inner voice. They act ordinary, bury their emotions, and remain stuck in cycles that are disconnected from who they truly are. But those who are chosen cannot do this. They feel deeply. They understand more than they can explain. Even as a child, you might have noticed things others overlooked, sensed energies, signs, or subtle warnings, or simply carried a quiet awareness that you were never truly alone, even in stillness. Those who are chosen grow up with this heightened awareness, even when the world attempts to make them forget. Today, you will discover the 7 spiritual abilities that define the truly chosen. These are deep signs that are not given to everyone. They are gifts placed within you as sacred instruments to fulfill a purpose only your soul understands. You may have experienced these abilities in ordinary moments, a meaningful dream, a sudden inner knowing, or a powerful urge to help someone. Or perhaps during hard times, when you felt an unseen presence shielding you, even when everything seemed to be falling apart. None of this happened by accident. These gifts are evidence that you are not here merely to exist, but to create change. You have been separated. You have been marked. You have been called. And now it is time to recognize what lies within you. Because when those who are chosen awaken, everything around them begins to shift. If this message resonated with you in any way, subscribe to the channel now. Together, we will uncover all that the chosen carry within and what they are meant to do with it. Your path begins here, and there is no going back. First, the gift of profound intuition. The earliest ability that often awakens in those who are chosen is intuition. It is more than a simple feeling. It is like a quiet inner voice, gentle yet certain, that speaks when everything else is still. It does not demand attention, but those who recognize it know they must listen. It feels as though something inside you understands the direction, even when your mind is uncertain. This intuition does not come from reasoning or past experience. It simply appears. You sense it in your chest, your gut, sometimes in sudden chills. Your body reacts to truths your soul already understands. Many who are chosen say they have felt this since childhood. They could sense when someone could not be trusted, when a place carried unusual energy, or when something positive was about to occur. Even without explanation, they knew, and over time, they learned that ignoring this inner signal always leads to consequences. This ability is not meant to impress others. It exists to guide and protect. Intuition is a form of spiritual communication. It is as though a part of you is directly connected to higher realms, receiving direction before events unfold in reality. Dreams also serve as pathways for this intuition. Not ordinary dreams, but those that stay vivid after waking. Dreams filled with meaning, symbols, or encounters with unfamiliar people who somehow feel known. A chosen individual can tell the difference between a random dream and a message. At times, this inner knowing becomes so powerful that it feels overwhelming. You may try to explain it logically, yet something continues to pull you in another direction. When you ignore it, things go wrong. When you trust it, even without clarity, everything aligns. This is the quiet strength of this first gift. As life unfolds, intuition becomes a reliable guide. In relationships, career paths, and both simple and major decisions, those who are chosen are often led not by logic, but by inner feeling. And even if they cannot explain it at the time, they later realize it led them exactly where they needed to be. This sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a sign of deep connection. Those who experience life intensely can perceive what others miss. Chosen individuals may react emotionally to things that seem small. They can sense the atmosphere of a place, the energy in a person's gaze, the unspoken meaning behind words. With time, this ability grows stronger. What once felt unclear becomes precise sense of direction. The chosen no longer feel shaken by chaos because they trust their inner guidance. They come to understand that even when the world says no, their soul may be saying yes. Intuition reveals the path even when nothing is visible ahead. It is like moving through darkness while knowing there is solid ground beneath you. And when you reflect on your journey, everything begins to make sense. Every decision, every step, all of it was guided. This ability awakens something powerful within, confidence and faith in what cannot be seen. The individual no longer depends on outside approval because they trust their own awareness. They learn to listen closely to their inner voice. And the more they listen, the clearer their direction becomes. For many, this is the ability that begins their spiritual awakening. It requires no training or preparation. It only asks for awareness. It only asks you to feel and accept that not everything needs a logical explanation. Some truths are meant to be understood through the heart. If you have ever experienced moments where something urged you to act or to hold back, and later you realize it changed everything, understand this. This ability already exists within you. And the more you honor this inner voice, the more powerful it becomes. Those who are chosen learn to hear it, believe in it, and act upon it. Second, the ability of healing through empathy. There are individuals who do not just recognize the suffering of others, they experience it as though it belongs to them. This is not overreaction or theatrics. It is genuine empathy. And within those who are chosen, this empathy carries a deeper mission, to bring healing. This ability shows itself as intense sensitivity. At times, simply stepping into a space allows them to sense the emotional atmosphere of those present. The chosen individual can detect concealed sorrow, hidden distress, and silent suffering. And often, they carry these feelings within themselves physically. It is as though their spirit links directly to another spirit, without conversation, without reasoning. They simply feel, and they feel so profoundly that it cannot be dismissed. Because of this, those who are chosen are frequently approached by people in need, friends, strangers, even young ones. There is something about their presence that makes others feel safe. Their energy naturally offers reassurance. At times, just being near them is enough to bring peace. Over time, many of these individuals come to realize they possess a healing influence. Not always through physical touch, though some do, but through their eyes, their words, and their ability to truly listen. It is as though their spirit intuitively knows what needs to be said, even without preparation. Others express this healing force through physical connection, embraces, gentle touch, or prayer. Some even sense warmth in their hands, an energy that flows when they are close to someone in pain. This is not imagination. It is the ability in action, the spiritual expressing itself through the physical form. However, carrying this ability is not always easy. Feeling everything so intensely can be exhausting. The chosen individual often takes on the emotions of others without awareness. They may feel depleted, unexpectedly heavy-hearted, or physically drained after being around someone struggling emotionally. Because of this, it is vital for those with this ability to learn self-protection. They must set limits, care for their own energy, and restore themselves through stillness, nature, or reflection. Empathy is a gift, but it must remain in balance. This ability also awakens profound compassion. The chosen individual does not judge quickly. They recognize that every action comes from a deeper story, a wound, or a cause. Because of this, they become a source of comfort for those seeking light. Healing does not mean rescuing. The chosen one is not meant to carry the burdens of the entire world. Instead, they serve as a connection, linking suffering to ease, confusion to understanding, and hopelessness to faith. Third, the ability to connect with the divine. Not everyone perceives the voice of God, yet some experience this connection so deeply and clearly that it feels like the heavens are speaking directly within them. Those who are chosen do not simply believe in spirituality, they exist in communication with it. This ability can appear in different forms. Some perceive it as sound, others as visions, and some as pure knowing. It is wisdom that seems to arise without origin, an answer that forms in stillness, a message that appears when no one else is present. For some, these messages come through prayer. For others, during meditation, or even in everyday moments, while walking, bathing, or gazing at the sky. The setting does not matter. When alignment is present, the connection occurs. This bond with the divine provides direction. Often, when the chosen individual feels uncertain or lost, clarity suddenly appears. They gain a strong sense of what must be done. It is as though an inner light has been switched on, revealing the path ahead. It is also common for them to receive visions, not through physical sight, but through inner awareness. These may appear as symbols, faces, or scenes, each carrying deep meaning. It feels like witnessing something spiritual unfold internally. This connection is not about structured belief systems. It is about a personal relationship. Each chosen individual experiences it uniquely. There are no strict methods. What matters is recognizing when this communication happens and honoring its message. Through this ability, many receive guidance, warnings, and protection. They may sense an unseen presence preventing harm or hear subtle instructions saying, "Do not go." By listening, they later realize they avoided something serious. This is not chance, it is spiritual guidance. This ability also turns a chosen individual into a messenger. They do not keep what they receive to themselves. When they feel led to speak, they do, and often, their words reach exactly those who need them most. It is as though the divine communicates through them to touch other lives. Because of this, people with this ability often help others without intending to. A single sentence spoken at the right time can shift someone's entire perspective, or even their life, because it came from beyond ordinary thought. Those who carry this ability tend to live with deep trust, not blind belief, but experienced faith. They have witnessed undeniable signs of divine presence. They have received answers that seemed impossible. They have been protected in ways others might not understand. And so, they believe. Yet, this ability also carries responsibility. Once you hear the spiritual truth, you cannot act as though you did not. What is revealed calls for response, and the chosen individual learns to follow, even when full understanding has not yet come. Fourth, the ability of clairvoyance and spiritual insight. Some individuals perceive beyond what is visible. They do not only observe the surface, they sense what lies beneath, within, and beyond the visible world. This is one of the most defining abilities of those who are chosen, the ability of inner sight and clear spiritual awareness. Clairvoyance is not about forecasting the future in a dramatic way, as often portrayed. It is about recognizing what is hidden, what remains unspoken, what others fail to perceive. It is as though the chosen individual can access another layer of reality where everything appears more truthful and complete. This ability may present itself through inner imagery or symbolic visions. It may also come as physical sensations, goosebumps, unease, tingling, or strong intuitive warnings. At times, it appears a sudden understanding that seems to come from nowhere, yet carries absolute certainty. Those who possess this ability do not remain at the surface. They perceive what lies beyond it. They recognize the real motives hidden behind expressions. They sense when something is off, even if everything appears fine. And many times, they notice signs that remain invisible to others, numbers, symbols, and messages showing up in everyday moments. This inner sight can also reveal itself through dreams. These are not ordinary dreams, but intense, meaningful visions that remain clear even after waking. They carry depth and significance, often feeling more real than physical reality itself. At times, the chosen individual experiences visions while fully awake, brief flashes, sudden images, or scenes that appear without warning. Spiritual clarity works alongside this ability. While inner vision reveals what cannot be seen, spiritual clarity explains what it means. It is like an inner certainty that shows the right course of action. Even when everything externally feels chaotic, there is a deep awareness within. Even if the mind struggles to make sense of it, the heart understands. Spiritual clarity provides guidance. In moments of uncertainty, the chosen individual can feel what is true. They may not hold every answer, yet they clearly sense the next move to take. These abilities guide them to make choices that may appear uncertain or even risky to others, yet feel completely right within. They may relocate, separate from certain people, or begin new paths, all because something inside them has already seen and understood what others have not yet realized. It is common for these individuals to recognize patterns in life events. They notice cycles, repeated situations, and connections between experiences that seem unrelated. They grasp the lessons life is presenting, even during the hardest times. This ability also allows them to understand spiritual signs. A butterfly appearing unexpectedly, an item falling without reason, or a specific song playing at the perfect moment. All of these hold meaning for someone with awakened perception. Nothing feels random, yet these abilities are not always comfortable. Perceiving what is hidden can be difficult. Understanding someone's real intentions, sensing negative energies, or recognizing truths that others ignore can feel isolating. This is why emotional stability and trust are essential for the chosen individual. Fifth, the ability of alignment with purpose. Those who are chosen rarely feel fulfilled by an ordinary life. They may attempt to blend in, follow expectations, and live according to what is considered normal. But something within them always calls more strongly. It is a persistent inner voice saying, "You are here for something greater." This ability appears as a deep need for meaning, not just to exist, but to make an impact. The chosen individual feels that their presence in this world is intentional. They carry a purpose, even if they have not fully discovered it yet. This feeling of restlessness often begins early in life. From a young age, they sense that the world does not fully align with them. They question systems, structures, and expectations. They see the struggles of others and wonder, how can I do things differently? How can I contribute to change? This is not ego, it is a calling, and this calling does not fade. It intensifies over time. It becomes stronger when they are in environments that do not support their growth, when they work only for survival, or live without purpose. The inner being resists. This ability acts like a force that keeps pushing them forward. Even when everything suggests stopping, they continue. They may stumble, feel discouraged, or experience failure, but they rise again. The purpose of someone chosen is rarely small. It often involves influencing lives, offering healing, sharing knowledge, inspiring others, or awakening awareness. Sometimes it is visible and large, other times subtle and quiet, but it always creates change. It leaves impact. It plants something meaningful. The chosen individual feels a strong desire to serve. Even without knowing the exact path, even without having all the tools, they feel compelled to contribute. They want to bring light. They want to leave the world better than they found it. This is not merely a wish. It is part of who they are. This ability also brings a unique kind of bravery. Even when afraid, they move forward. Even without certainty, they trust because they sense they are supported by something beyond themselves. Often, hardship is part of their journey. Those who are chosen go through intense challenges. But over time, they understand that every difficulty has prepared them. Every setback has strengthened them. Nothing was meaningless. Each experience has shaped them into someone capable of fulfilling their purpose. If you feel that something within you is waiting to be expressed, a message, an idea, a calling, then this ability is already alive inside you, and everything you have experienced so far may have been preparing you for this moment. 6. The ability of protection and endurance. One thing all chosen individuals share is this: they have faced situations that could have broken anyone else, yet they remain standing. Something watches over them. Something lifts them back up. Even when everything appears lost, an unseen force prevents them from remaining down for long. This ability is more than emotional strength. It is a quiet yet powerful spiritual resilience. It appears when others give up, but they persist. When everything falls apart, yet they continue. When no one believes, yet they still hold on to faith. Those who are chosen often endure more difficult trials than others. This is because their spirit is refined through adversity. Pain sharpens them. Challenges build their strength. Failures teach them wisdom. Over time, they begin to see that every hardship has made them stronger. There is also a form of protection that surrounds them, something that keeps deeper harm away. They may face struggles, but often they are spared from something worse. A small delay that changed everything, a rejection that turned into protection, a closed door that was actually guidance. What once seemed negative is later understood as preservation. This safeguarding also reveals itself through inner knowing. The chosen individual senses when something is not right. They feel when it is necessary to step away from a place or a person. At times, they cannot explain why discomfort arises. Only afterward do they understand they were protected from something they never even witnessed. Even when they face attacks, whether spiritual, emotional, or verbal, they remain shielded. Efforts to weaken them do not endure. They may feel the pressure, but something greater upholds them, as if an unseen presence constantly surrounds them, observing and stepping in when needed. This inner power also appears as resilience. Those who are chosen do not remain trapped in suffering for long. They experience pain, they weep, they struggle, but they rise. They always rise. And each time they stand again, they return stronger, more aware, and more aligned with their purpose. The ability of protection and endurance is closely tied to trust. Through their experiences, the chosen individual learns to believe. They come to understand that nothing happens randomly. They see meaning in every loss, every setback, every quiet season. And this understanding gives them calm even in the middle of chaos. Seventh, the ability of spiritual retain, the principle of cause and effect. What you give out comes back. This is a universal truth that those who are chosen do not just understand. They experience it deeply. They live it intensely. For them, nothing escapes the awareness of the universe. Every thought, every word, every action carries results. This ability is a clear awareness of the law of return, and it shows up strongly in their lives. When they act with goodness, life answers with clear blessings. When they make mistakes, even without intention, they quickly feel the weight of correction. This is not punishment. It is realignment. It is as if life keeps them on a more focused, aware, and responsible path. Those who are chosen cannot remain unaware for long. Their spiritual nature requires them to live with intention and honesty. They understand that whatever they send out comes back, often with greater intensity. If they support someone, eventually support returns to them in unexpected ways. If they cause harm, even unknowingly, that energy comes back as a lesson, bringing awareness and growth. This ability creates a strong sense of spiritual accountability. The chosen individual becomes mindful of their thoughts, intentions, and speech. They recognize they cannot act carelessly because life responds to them with precise balance. This is why many of them go through challenging periods after drifting away from their true path. They feel deeply that something is misaligned, and this sensitivity guides them back toward truth, goodness, and their purpose. This awareness also increases their compassion. They think carefully before acting because they know everything is interconnected. They understand that kindness spreads and returns, while negative actions, even small ones, come back as lessons. This ability also teaches forgiveness. They realize that everyone eventually faces the results of their actions. There is no need to hold on to anger or seek revenge. Life itself restores balance, and peace comes from trusting this. If you notice that your actions quickly reflect back into your life, if you have observed that even your thoughts seem to shape your experiences, then this ability is already active within you. And the more you respect this principle, the more balanced and clear your journey becomes. Those who are chosen live in alignment with the spiritual realm. They know they are never alone. Because of this, they move with awareness, spreading light even in darkness, knowing that everything they give will one day return to them. If you have seen these abilities within yourself, understand this. It is not random. You carry a divine essence and have been called towards something meaningful. Spiritual abilities are not given merely as gifts, but as sacred tools meant to fulfill your purpose here. Accepting them is a beginning. Strengthening them is a next step. And using them with care and wisdom is how transformation happens. Write in the comments which of these abilities you have already experienced. And if this message spoke to your spirit, share it with someone who may also be chosen. May the light within you guide many others.